We've laid the groundwork, and we know now that I submit to the Catholic Church's teachings. So Christianity revolves around a central figure, Jesus Christ, the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. But before we talk about Jesus Christ, there's a concept we need to lay the groundwork for. A concept that I'm sure you're all familiar with. Sin. There are two types of sins we are going to discuss. Original sin and personal sin. To discuss and understand original sin, we have to talk about the story of Adam and Eve. In the Bible, the book of Genesis, God created man and earth and put them in the Garden of Eden. The only command he gave them is that they must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. He even clearly states that if you eat from this tree, you will surely die. And along comes a crafty snake who we represent as the devil, and he speaks to Eve and he says, "You will certainly not die if you eat from the tree. In fact, you'll be like God. You'll know good from evil." So Eve thought this sounded pretty good, and instead of listening to God's commandment, she instead listened to the devil's words, ate the fruit, and gave some to Adam, who also ate the fruit. Once they eat from the fruit, they realize they're naked. God comes along, and Adam and Eve hide. God asks, "Where are you?" They come out of hiding and say, "We hid because we were naked." God realizes that they ate from the fruit and asks, "Who commanded you to eat that fruit?" Adam blames Eve, Eve blames the snake, and God casts them out of the Garden of Eden. This is the beginning of original sin. How? Because Eve had two choices. She could have chosen to trust in God and listen to his commandments, but instead she chose to trust in herself to be like God because of the words of the devil, of the snake, and therefore she ate the fruit. What do we then see when they eat the fruit? Feelings of shame. They realize they're naked and they're ashamed of it. This signifies a loss of innocence, trust, and original harmony with God and each other. What do we know of shame? Shame can lead to anger. Anger leads to violence. Violence leads to murder. Shame can also lead to lies. Lies into deceit. Deceit into theft. God then casts us out of the Garden of Eden because there's one more tree there he did not want us to take from. The tree of life, which grants immortal life. He did not want us to eternally murder and steal from each other. The world we live in today is because of the original sin of Adam and Eve's first disobedience to God, allowing humanity the capacity for evil.